Kind. You can probably move in some more.
Yeah. I can slide down.
Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to say Barakatah YAHAWAH.
Barakatah YAHAWAH.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
Barakatah YAHAWAH.
Barakatah YAHAWAH.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
Barakatah YAHAWAH.
Barakatah YAHAWAH.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
Barakatah YAHAWASHI.
BAHA SHEM.
BAHA SHEM.
Rakah.
Wadash.
Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, Great Millstone. Peace, bless, and salutations to the elect. All right, we're Great Millstone. Okay, your brothers back at you again to deliver you an installment of truth. Okay, we're at the Kolomoki Mounds. Okay, and this is all the spirit. You know, the brother Tazawam, he's been here before, but see, the spirit has brought us back here again because, see, we know through the spirit that our people that Esau deems as Native Americans, those are really Israelites. Okay, and we're going to just get into the spirit of all this, man. First of all, this is a temple mound, okay, or a ceremonial mound. So Gad were performing ceremonies here. You know, there was a lot of spiritual activity here, and the way that they built this structure, it was all based off of mathematics and also the constellations. You know, because this edifice or this high place, and we're going to get into that, it lines up with the constellation of Pleiades. Okay, so why did they build it to where it would line up with Pleiades? You know what I'm saying? Because see, you're going to come to find out that the Israelites are the so-called Native Americans. Along, you got the so-called Negroes are Israelites, and you got the so-called Latinos, which they're deemed as so-called natives. You know what I'm saying? But they just speak Spanish. A lot of them Spanish and Portuguese. Okay, but
First Chronicles 11:42. It says Adina, the son of Shiza, the Reubenite, a captain of the Reubenites, and 30 with him. All right.
So it mentioned Adina. Now, dealing with these different cultures in the Americas, you know, Esau, he gives them certain names, right? But see, a lot of these different names are Hebrew, because Adina, that actually goes back to a Reubenite. Now, the so-called Adina culture, they're responsible for building the Serpent Mound in Ohio. All right, but see, this area that we're in down here, this is called the Woodland culture. All right, and then later on, you had the Mississippian culture, which is where you get Cahokia and stuff like that. But this area that we're in, right? Hey man, at one time in the Americas, it was the largest Gadite civilization. Okay, it was the largest settlement of Gad north of Mexico.
That's right.
All right, you have something you want to add?
No, you got it, brother.
But breaking down the word Adina, hey, these different words, they're Hebrew. Okay, go ahead.
Now the word Adina, it breaks down in the Hebrew to Idaya Na'ah. Okay, and it says here, it means slender. All right. Now when you go into the root of the word, all right, it goes into Idayan, which means voluptuous, like something that's you have a
Robust.
Yeah, like a robust amount of. But even that's a root word which goes into the word Idan, which means to luxuriate or delight oneself. Now we know that goes into Idan or Eden, which means the same thing, joy or luxurious. Right? And it's known in the scriptures that America itself was known as like the Garden of Eden. Okay, and that's where the Israelites here, in particular the tribe of Gad, that's where they built these mounds at, and these different. Yes, a lot. That's what I was looking for. Deuteronomy
33 and 20. That's the one you look for.
Yeah, 33 and 20. Okay, come on, Salaki, the water. Genesis, Deuteronomy 33 and 21. Now this is well, I'll start at 20. It says, and of Gad, he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion, and teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
Yeah, that goes into voluptuousness. You know what I'm saying? So they had a large portion of land.
Yep.
You know, that's why, hey, they're a tribe of Israel, but then what the Lord say, we will be a nation and a company of nations.
That's right.
So each tribe is a nation within itself, but dealing with Gad, hey, they divided themselves up into different tribes.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why they had these different cultures throughout North America. Okay?
And,
You know, you got
yeah,
it.
and if I could say something, you know, when you look into the word Kolomoki, which, you know, this is called the Kolomoki Mounds, the brother brought out an interesting point. You know, we were talking, you know, before the stream or whatever, and basically when you look up the word Kala, it means, I think it means to be finished or diminish.
Yep.
You know, and that's basically what happened to Gad, man. They were such a large people, but now you gotta travel miles to see a Gadite.
That's right.
You know, you gotta go to certain remote places just to see a Native American. But here it is. Prior to that, you know, they were a big tribe, man. They were humongous. But Esau wiped out over 90% of the Gadites by way of smallpox. You know, so a lot of Gadites lost their life over here.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all biblical prophecy, where the scriptures say a troop shall overcome. You know, speaking about the prophecy concerning Gad in Genesis the 49th chapter.
That's right.
It said a troop shall overcome them.
That's right.
Well, that's what you see what happened, man. You got certain Gadites, they've been pushed into remote areas throughout America, and they have a real small number. When they was just as populous as the tribe of Issachar.
Yep.
At one point in time, man. You know, like, what was that, I think you brought out the point where that one Native American chief said all that they do was
it was fish and hunt during the day and have sex all night.
yeah. So they had, you know, one Gadite had lots of kids. And if you grew up in, you know, which, you know, a couple of, you know, of us, we grew up in the South, so you have certain you know, you still have certain Gadites mixed in with Judites.
Yep.
And for instance, my mother's father, he was a straight up and down Gadite. He looked like him and everything, but he had 10 kids. You know, so you had Gadite families back in the day. They could easily have a family of 15, a family of 20. You know, easily. But nowadays, you know, you got to go all the way to the Lakota. You know, the Lakota reservation, or the what's the reservation out in South Dakota?
Can't think of it right now.
You know, but you got to go way out there to see a Gadite, man. You know, I just wanted to put that point in.
Yeah, cause I had just a little bit more on this, and then finish this out. Deuteronomy 33 and 21, it says, and he provided the first part for himself, right? And that first part was America. That's how Gad divided the land up. It says, because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated, and he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel. And we just so happen to be here at a ceremonial mound, which I believe is called the Temple Mound. So Gad was here doing certain, you know, ceremonies and certain, you know, spiritual things to you know, to give back to the Heavenly Father. And then of course, you know, over time it got deteriorated in worship, but this is how they set things up over here.
Well, if I could say it, the mound is facing towards the east.
Yeah.
So before we cut the camera on and we send up prayers to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, we facing the mound.
Yeah, showing you that Gad too. They always knew.
The Lord.
They always had that. You know, you know, facing the east. They still had that in them, man. You know, they already knew where the homeland was, so to speak. You know?
Yep, they will face Jerusalem.
That's right.
Yep. Hey, you got
I got some few verses. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and 40, and it says, and I saw that 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered among another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land, and to the time of Osea the king, who Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, so came they into another land. But they took this counsel amongst themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country.
And if I could add a quick point to what the brothers reading up on the history of the 10 tribes when they fled out of Assyria. Now, you know, ancient Assyria, you know, today is Mesopotamia, which the word Mesopotamia, Meso means middle, and Potamia means river. and it's the landmass right between I think it's the Tigris and the Euphrates.
Yeah, it is.
That's where ancient Assyria was at. Now, when you go back into the history, they have actual mounds, okay, or pyramids in ancient Assyria that resemble these exact same mounds that you see behind us, showing you that when those Native Americans or those 10 tribes left out of Assyria during the time of King Shalmaneser, all right, they came over to the Americas and they made the exact same mounds.
Yeah. It's nothing new,
Right.
you know, because they did it in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? But he said he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. So that's why the Lord said, for other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. You know what I'm saying? So he's talking about the 10 tribes. You got it out.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Yeah, so nobody lived here. People always talk about the Olmecs. The Olmecs didn't live here. Those were Hamites, you know, the Canaanites.
That's right.
And Zidonians, all right? They didn't live here. You know what I'm saying? When they came over here, they just gathered resources for King Solomon.
Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
That's why they have a temple mound here.
That's right.
Verse 43, and they entered into the Euphrates by a narrow passage of the river from the, like you said, Mesopotamia. For the Most High then shewed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through, you want somebody?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, the elder brother was making a point about how they established this whole area was according to the constellations. It was the
Pleiades.
The Pleiades constellations, all right? And it shows you that the Lord was already dealing with them on that level. You know, of course, Issachar, you know, that's prophetic that he had the understanding of the skies, but also the other tribes knew a little something as well about the constellations, you know? So for them to actually, you know, be showed those signs in the heavens, you know, in their journey over here to the Americas, when they got here, they still had that knowledge passed down from their ancestors to where they can set these things up in certain areas, you know? Just like we were just bringing out a point, you know, just real quick, how when you look at this area, it's just a big field. It's a big field. There's no trees here. It's wide open. And you could tell that YAHAWASHI created this plot of land, you know, and he gave them the understanding of the heavens. So when they found this plot of land, they already understood that this should be used for ceremonial purposes. Because the Most High was dealing with them on that level with the heavens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because this isn't a burial mound behind us. It's a ceremonial mound. We got burial mounds all around us. You know? You got it.
I'm gonna read I'm gonna read 44 again. And it says, for the Most High then shewed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Right, so he held those currents back. You know?
Verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go.
Hey man, this is where Jay get messed up. When it says for through that countries, that means to get to that country.
Right.
You know, because Jake think it's talking about,
They went to
they went to Europe or something like that. Them on foot. No, man.
Right.
You know, they were in ships. Go ahead.
Come. That was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Astoreth.
Yep.
Then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now they see the beginning to come.
Oh man. Hey, so that's deep. And Elder Pastor went into that latter part, and now when they shall begin to come, you know, at first they just pretty much did a test run or a trial run with them coming over here. They sent a few ships, you know what I'm saying, then men came back, and then they saw that everything was good, then the rest of them came. You know what I'm saying? You know, so they began to came in big bulks, so to speak. But in droves. But it said, then dwelt they there until the latter time. Now, it's something because they're still here. The people are still here. But we also go into the word Kolomoki, which in the Hebrew is Kolomoki, and we're going to show what that means, man, because brother just spoke on it through the Spirit. Hey, that proves that this is the end. End times, man.
Right. I'll pull up those screenshots. And I'll just go right into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the with Kala, and I'll just read it for the brother. So Kala, okay, Kala in the Hebrew, which is Kalo in Hebrew is Kala. In the short definition, it's finished. To be complete, at an end, finished, accomplished, or spent.
Yeah. So, hey man, then dwelt they there until the latter time.
You want me to read it again?
Yeah, come on.
This is 2nd Ezra 13 and 46. And then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now, when they shall begin to come.
Yeah. Now I got the Hebrew word, Makai for Kolomoki. The Hebrew word is Makai, and it says a Gadite.
So it's actual Gadite's name.
And it how you pronounce it is Maki. And it says a certain of uncertain derivation, a Gadite. Now I'm gonna go into Makai, which it means decrease.
It means to decrease. So when you break down Kala Makai, it means at the end a decrease. You know what I'm saying? So what happened? We know that ultimately a troop overcame Gad. The American cavalry. So they decreased, man. You know what I'm saying? When you look back at the different wars the Gadites had with the American government, you know what I'm saying? And what happened? Ultimately, Gad ended up being pushed out west. Okay? But see, the balance to it, can we get Genesis 49?
I got it right. 19?
Yep.
I got it right here. All right, this is Genesis 49 and 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Yeah, so even though during the end times he's going to be overcome by Esau, he's going to get the upper hand of Esau. Ultimately he's going to be over Esau, and that's the time that we're coming into. You got to see a lot of so-called Native Americans, a lot of Gadites, that's really who they are. You're going to see a lot of them wake up to the truth.
That's right.
Okay? Teaching the same truth that we teaching, man. All right? And that's them overcoming. You got 12,000 out of each tribe of Israel. Okay? So you got that 12,000 of Gad. All right? That's them overcoming, man. All right? You had something out?
I have something. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
Yeah, just like you mentioned those mounds they have in Mesopotamia. They made those same structures here throughout the Americas. Okay?
It's like they trademark.
Yeah. Because
Israel, really.
It's a monument. You know what I'm saying? It's a it's a boundary. Hey, scriptures say
it's a landmark.
I was just about to say that. Moving out the ancient landmark. The scriptures say that. And what does Esau do? Certain of these mounds, he'll desecrate them. It's a burial mound. Right. He'll think certain riches up in it, so he'll dig into it, seeing if he can find any gold or precious stones and stuff like that.
He probably polluted the hell out of this mound.
Yeah.
He probably went up there and did all kind of unrighteous, satanic rituals, unholy sacrifices to that whatever deity.
Well, you probably have these devils that live in this area, and they how Esau is. He's likes to freak off. They probably go up there and pop a woman up there.
They would. They did it. They did it.
You're dealing with hundreds of years of Edomites. I wouldn't see why they didn't find it somewhere in the schedule to do it.
They would.
Right.
This area is kind of it's ducked off. Brothers watching this area is ducked off. It's kind of like in the back.
It's secluded.
It's secluded. So like brothers going into, ain't no telling what Esau doing out here.
Probably some little young high schoolers.
Doing
spiritual
drugs.
demon Satan. Spiritual demon Satan moved on them, and they drove up here at night, drunk and high, and just freaking off. When this was like it's a temple mound.
It was sacred. It was sacred.
It was supposed to be sacred sacred land.
That's right.
But ultimately, Gad polluted it too.
That's true. They was worshiping other gods.
It was at one point in time where they were worshiping other gods. But through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, you see the spirit of the Lord before the day of the Lord come. The Lord got what out here? Prophets.
Prophets out here.
Bringing that clean spirit back.
Yep.
That's right.
That Holy Spirit back. That holy energy. Because yet and still, even though America's going to be destroyed, there was still plots of land throughout America that YAHAWASHI created for ceremonial purposes. You know, and these being one of them.
Okay.
You know, so the Lord still, yet and still, you know, still revive that energy. You know, because it's like we were speaking about, you have certain zones throughout the world, they call them ley lines. You know, where throughout history, a lot of people, they go to certain areas, you know, for sacrificial reasons, ceremonial reasons. All right, even in certain areas throughout Jerusalem.
Yep.
You know, you had certain areas where you would bury the dead, certain areas you would go and pray. Like YAHAWASHI went to the Garden of Gethsemane. That wasn't by default.
Right.
You know, there was a reason the Spirit led him to that area.
Oil press.
You know, the oil press. So it's actual energy zones, you know, that the Lord has set up, you know, throughout the world.
Well, you can go all the way back to Moses.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, the Lord told Moses, you're standing on holy land. Take
Yep.
your shoes off.
That's it. That's it.
Yep. Yep. That's it.
It's just
Mount
like,
Sinai.
yeah, just like in your house. You know, within your own house, you have certain areas that you take your shoes off when you go in here, or you know, this area is for this purpose, this area is for that purpose. Well, it's the same thing here in America. The Lord has certain areas, plots of land, all right, that's set up for that particular reason. You know, I just wanted to put that out.
Yeah, that's why you have chariot sightings mainly in like specific locations.
Yep.
You know that the activity, it'll be higher in that area. You know, like you said, it ain't by coincidence, man. You know, and the main thing, you know, the Lord sending us out here, man. We ain't out here by coincidence. Spirit had us out here, had us come out here, man. You know, because the Lord about to do a great work in waking up the tribes.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna see Gad come in by the bulk, Reuben. You know what I'm saying? Issachar. You know, all the tribes. Yeah, Ephraim. You know.
And if I could say, this cuts you retarded Israelites that say that all the 12 tribes are all just Negroes, man.
Right.
All right, because like we're going into, this is a temple mound. It faces the east. All right, the 10 tribes, Salaki, the 10 tribes that came, the distance over here. All right, set up these things. We're going into a history showing and proving. This is a lesson going into this mound, but at the same time, we're covering a history showing you that the so-called Native Americans, which are Gadites, are actually Israelites.
That's right.
You gotta get, you people got to get that out of your head, man.
That's right.
And at the same time, you so-called Native Americans, you got to wake up to your true history.
That's right. That's right.
Stop being stuck into this whole, you know, you just go to a powwow every so often and put a feather in your head, and now you just a Native American. A lot of you Native Americans, you're just Native Americans on the weekends too, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're not really about your culture and your history and your people.
Yeah, they westernized as hell, man.
Celebrating Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you might have, some of them they might come out and talk against Thanksgiving, but then after that, it's like, what else, man?
Right.
You know, like the brother said, man, you gotta wake up to who you really are, man.
That's right.
You don't just stop at
Right.
so-called Thanksgiving,
Right.
man.
And the pilgrims.
In the
You
pilgrims.
gotta
It goes way deeper
understand.
than that.
You gotta understand why you're not able to do your ancient sacrifices no more.
That's right.
What was the reason? What happened to you? Why is this mound, which is supposed to be a dear thing to your people,
Right.
it's in shrubs. It's shrubs all around it, man.
Yeah, not well kept.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you not able to do that, man? You know what happened? What was the reason why the Lord brought these troops against you? Why did He push you into reservations? You have to ask yourselves some questions. You can't just harp on the fact that you know you're a Native American. It goes beyond that.
Right.
Way deeper.
You know,
I got something else to be on
okay,
mine.
yeah.
This is Job 8:8, and it says, "For inquire, I pray thee of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers."
So inquire or ask about the former age. And who you gonna inquire to? You know, you're gonna go to the prophets. You can't talk directly to the Most High.
Right.
So you inquire, you know, you ask the prophets about the former age. Where were you before you came to the Americas? Where were you before you was here? Like brother said, it don't just stop at you being native. And the brother just got the history.
That's right.
Those are the 10 tribes.
Yep.
You know, so the question was answered. All right? But you need to be asking it. You need to be seeking for the truth. Okay? And it say, prepared ourselves for the search of their fathers,
That's right.
which is your fathers, who you are. You're an Israelite, okay?
Gad.
Gad,
Reuben.
Reuben, Issachar, and we speak about the tribes that was here in North America.
Right.
All right, that's who you are, okay? You're not a heathen. You're not a savage.
A Gentile.
Yeah, you're not a Gentile.
A natural Gentile.
Yeah, you're not a red man. Cause Esau want to put that on
Yeah,
Gad.
yeah.
He's the red man. Esau the red man. You're not the red man.
Literally.
That's right.
You know?
Yep.
Was that it on
That
that?
was it on
I got something.
All
real
right,
quick.
come on. Okay.
Bro, get it. Oh, we
Okay,
go ahead.
if y'all want to get that, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you know, this is going back to, you know, the history. You know, Gad building the Temple Mounds. Okay, well, that's what this particular mound is called, the Temple Mound, and how they used to do sacrifices. And this is part of our culture. It was something that we had did going back to the land of Israel in the ancient times. Now I'm gonna bring out the scripture. This is 1 Kings 3:2.
Our spirit.
Yeah. All right. It says, only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord until those days.
Right. So a temple mound is an alternative when you don't have an actual temple.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. They were sacrificing here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ceremonial mound. It's a temple mound. And brother got the definition.
Yeah. Now the Hebrew word for the word high place is bama. Okay, and it means a high place, a ridge, or a height.
Hey, it has a ridge top.
Yeah.
It does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flat,
Yep.
flat plane.
Yep. Like a plateau.
Yeah, plateau. Right.
It says mountain, high places, battlefields.
Yeah.
All right, this whole
Yeah.
place was America was a battlefield for Gad. All right, it says high places as places of worship. Right, the Temple Mount. We didn't have so when Gad came over here, all right, they didn't have the temple in Jerusalem no more.
Right.
So they had to build the Temple Mound, and not just this particular mound, but in other tribes
Yeah.
built other mounds in different places as well.
Yeah.
Okay, as
Yeah,
places of worship.
They're just the woodland culture, which you got the Adena, like we went into.
Yep,
You got the
Adena culture.
Mississippi. You got
Yep.
the Hopewell.
Mhm.
All right, you have many others, man. So this all ties in.
That's right.
Like the brother Abba said, it's number proof, man.
That's right.
If you guys can't get it, the Lord don't want you to get it, and we'll just see you on the other side, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, the Gadites are Israelites. We don't call them who they are. We ain't gonna say
Right.
Native American.
Gad.
Those are Israelites, man.
That's right.
And if I could say that to prove to the spirit, hey, majority of us brothers up here, we're not part of the Southern Kingdom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Doing this lesson. So you saying that we're heathens?
Mhm.
All right. So what about that? Because I'm not part of the Southern Kingdom. I'm a Northern Kingdom myself.
That's right. Right.
Mhm.
All right, which a lot of us up here are. So
Yeah.
we're bringing out our own personal history,
Our
right?
history,
Our
that's
own.
right.
This is actually our own history, man. A lot of us,
Yeah.
we didn't come over here. A lot of Israelites didn't come over here on the slave ships,
They
man.
were
They was already here.
It was already
Yeah.
here.
That's right.
on the
Yeah.
traveling ships that came over here. You know, ships from Assyria.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, brother. Hey, man, this is beautiful. Hey, and it's a spirit because we had got Adena. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And when you broke down the name, that was a Reubenite. You know what I'm saying? But it just so happened they had the so-called Adena culture in the Americas, and they built plateaus too. They built high places,
Yep.
what you call mounds. So all the tribes, man, they were all doing the same thing. It wasn't just Issachar building pyramids, because it's basically a pyramid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The other tribes were doing it as well, man.
That one there, the way it slopes up on both sides.
Yeah.
That's a pyramid.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
platform, man.
Yep.
That's right.
You know, brother, got any other scriptures?
No, that's all I
I
have.
had-
Will you hold anything out?
I had that one in Jeremiah 16.
Yeah, St. John 10:16.
And I'll get it real quick. Jeremiah 6. You know, because you know the brothers was just going into how you gotta go beyond, you know, tomahawks and leather pants with fringes.
Right.
You gotta go
Con.
past that. That's just like
Like
you know, just like
like
you
wolf.
so-called Negroes. You gotta go past
A dashiki
a dashiki,
Yeah.
and an afro.
you know, and sandals. You gotta go beyond that, man. How did you get there? What does the dashiki go back to?
Right.
You know, what do the fringes go back to? So-called Native Americans.
Right.
Or you just wearing it because you just seen the last of the Mohicans?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you gotta
What you be putting
understand.
on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta understand
Yeah.
what these things mean, man.
Taking the funk.
You know, this is don't just be doing stuff.
Right.
This is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths.
Wait a minute, say, stand ye in the ways. So you need to be looking for the truth, basically. You know what I'm saying? And you only gonna get it here. You know, and you inquire from the prophets. Like, hey, like the brother read in Job. All right? You look for the old paths, man. You got that.
Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein.
Yeah, so you gonna want to be a Native American and not wake up to the fact that you're an Israelite? Well, you're gonna die Native American. You want to be a so-called Negro? All right, you want to be an African American? Well, you're gonna die African American. Okay? They are not all Israel, which are of Israel. So if you want to put that covering on, they say in Isaiah, they cover with a covering, but not in my spirit. Yeah, you want to, hey, you're going to die like that. You're going to die heathen, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's not our fault. We just bringing out pure truth, man.
That's right.
Hey, Albert, can you get Jeremiah 31:1?
Yep. I got that St. John too.
Con.
St. John 10.
Con, we gonna get this, and then we gonna get that.
Okay,
that, and that's gonna seal it.
Con.
Said Jeremiah 31:1.
Con.
This is Jeremiah 31:1, and it says, "At the same time, saith the Lord, will I be the power of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people."
Right. So this is not a black thing.
That's right.
It's not a Judite thing. Okay. It's not a Southern Kingdom thing. It's an Israel thing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We doing this for Israel. La Yasharala.
That's right.
Okay. You got 12 tribes. Okay. So the God of all the families of Israel. So that's why we out here. Hey, this is love, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Reaching out to a particular tribe. You know, we want to see our brothers, man. We want to see Gad. You know, see you come out of that state. Yeah, and not just Gad, but I was just making a point. So we on, you know, Gad land. But like the brother said, all the tribes, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Want to see you come back. And that's the time that we in. We in the time of Israel repenting. You know, turning back to YAHAWASHI.
Yeah,
The two sticks becoming one right now.
Right.
That's
Right,
it, brother.
That's it.
Because we in the time where Yahawashi is about to come and redeem his purchased items, which is the elect, and he purchased it through his blood. So you got to understand, you know, that you know, your culture being the Israelite is rich.
Yeah.
All right, you have a rich culture, man. All right, you have a culture that's full of righteousness, laws, you know, brotherly love, you know, diets. You know, you could go into specifics. You have you know, we have the history on artifacts, things that we used to get into. Spirituality, the forefathers.
Yep.
So-called Native Americans, which we're going to emphasize, are Gadites, all right, and Reubenites, all right. The very fact that you lived in history a nomadic kind of lifestyle, bouncing from one place to the another. That's according to the Bible.
That's right.
The very fact that you lived in what you call teepees, it's on the Bible.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's known as booths.
Yeah.
Or tents.
Yeah, and see, and you just put those booths up. You know, basically a lot of times when you was just hunting.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you would be on the move because a booth that's just a temporary dwelling. You know, because Gad built houses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey man, Gad were a very
all that came from Gad.
Yeah. Hey man,
Wooden long houses.
yeah, we weren't stupid before Esau came, man. Don't think that Esau civilized you.
Right. No.
You know.
Yeah. Like I did a lesson a couple of weeks back. And it goes into the cities. These you know, American cities of today, and how they really were ancient Gadite cities.
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. You got Chicago, which go back to Chicago. And it has Manhattan, Manhattan. You know, Philadelphia was a Gadite city. St. Louis, you know, because you got the Cahokia. You know, like the elder brother, you know, he visited about a year ago. When you go into the Cahokia, that was a major metropolis, man.
Yeah.
That was a huge metropolis, man. You know, full of Gadites, man. So Esau really set up a lot of these cities off of when they came down on you. They just basically erased the history, destroyed it, and that same plot of land, they just erected they bull crap.
That's right.
You know, so you had a civilization.
That's right.
You know, you had stores, you had methods of trade. All right, you knew how to make shoes, clothes. You wasn't just in the middle of the forest.
Savages.
You know.
Don't think that Esau gave you toothpaste and combs. All right.
Right.
You know, don't think that they gave you forks. Like we knew things before. We had everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
a rich culture.
yeah, But the thing is that the key ingredient, the Lord took His Spirit from us.
That's right.
And that's why we were able to be taken down. So like brother getting into, because it's heavy. We're gonna talk about Gad and Reuben.
Yeah.
Because see, Gad and Reuben were in North America. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And,
right.
and the spirit of those tribes, they both like to move around. You know what I'm saying? So like we said, man, it's an Israel thing. A lot of you brothers can come to find out, you really not Judah. You know what I'm saying? You another tribe. You Northern Kingdom. So that's why through spirit we getting this. Hey man, we gonna see. Hey, like it says in Bible Kushak, can we get that? Is it in 31? Was it in 30? A great company shall return.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, get your scripture first.
It's St. John chapter 10 verse 16. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
Like the brother Abba just read. Those are the 10 tribes.
That's right.
And the brother had mentioned the 2 sticks.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You had a southern kingdom and a northern kingdom. Okay? So the other sheep would have to be the northern tribes. All right? Because the fold that he was talking to was the southern kingdom. You know, primarily Judah, Benjamin, Levi. You know, we know the apostles, they went into it. You had a sprinkling of the other tribes around them. You know, but really it was primarily Judah, Benjamin, Levi. It's like when you go into Revelation 12, when it says how the dragon cast down the 3 stars, that's Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And those are the tribes that went into West Africa. It covers that history. You know, so that's how you know it's talking about them. So the other sheep would be the people that you call Native Americans, all right?
And the Bible explains where you went. You came over to the Americas. You know, when you ask these so-called Jews, which they go back to Amalek in the Bible, they're Edomites. You ask them who are the 10 tribes, they'll tell you that after the Assyrian captivity, they got lost, and they basically went somewhere beyond the Sambation River, and they basically got lost. That's what they'll tell you. Well, no, the Bible don't say that. The Bible does not say that. Well, if that's the case, well, why is it in the New Testament YAHAWASHI was speaking to an Asherite? It was an Asherite written of in the book of Acts. So if those tribes were lost, how was that recorded?
And if they were lost, then what about Revelation 7? 12,000 from each tribe.
They got sealed. They got sealed. Well, what happened to those tribes? It's you Native Americans and you Hispanics. You represent them tribes, man.
Hey, if I can say, I think if you watch the movie, I believe it's 1492, Christopher Columbus. I think in the intro they show him, I think if I'm not mistaken, he's reading the Apocrypha. He had to come across that scripture.
He was reading what I just read.
Because they said he had the Hebrew interpreters on his journey, man. Why do you think he had that? Because he knew it was Hebrew Israelites over in his land.
That's right.
He wasn't trying to look for India and got lost. He knew where he was
That's
going.
Exactly
That's
right.
All right.
That damn lie.
That's a big lie.
That's right.
I got the scripture you called for. Jeremiah 31:7. It says, "But thus saith the Lord, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations."
Hey, we doing that right now.
Yep.
That's right.
Ain't that something? We singing for gladness for Jacob. We singing a new song, and we're among the chief of the nations. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. All right.
Yep.
You know that little horn whose look was more stout than his fellows. That's America. So this is the chief. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the superpower of the earth right now.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
It says, "Publish ye."
Right. So mean to make public. We teach in public. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, shoot. When we put this video on YouTube, it's going to you got to hit that publish button. You know.
Publish it.
Worldwide.
Yeah. It says, "Praise ye and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel."
The elect. Like when we talk about the 12,000 out of each tribe.
It says, "Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither."
Yeah, which is gonna be millions of Israelites.
That's right, brother.
You know, so we're coming into that time. You're gonna see a mass awakening.
Yep.
You know, on a level that is gonna scare the shit out of Esau and everybody, really.
Yeah.
You
All
know,
nations.
all nations, man.
That's right.
Yeah, the scriptures say our people are gonna be willing in the day of thy power.
That's right.
You know, and they're gonna be willing to do what? To turn back to the Lord, man.
That's right.
You know, see, it takes because the scriptures speak about Israel seeking for a sign. you know, and shall not see one. But it's going to come a point in time where the Lord, he's going to actually start to show signs and wonders. You know, he's going to start to show, you know, his name has to be glorified in the earth, man.
That's right.
And he's going to do it through his men, you know. So we going into a heavy time of this truth is going to show exponential growth, which exponential growth is when something starts small, but then it starts to grow at an alarming rate, too fast.
It takes off.
You know, to where it starts to grow beyond containment.
Yeah, exponential is 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8.
Yep.
8
to 16.
8 to 16.
It gets 16 to 32. Yeah.
That's exponential growth. And that's what this truth is doing.
That's right.
You know, when you're looking at now, you know, when we first started on YouTube, brothers would get, you know, 10, 15, 20 views. You know, then that went from that to 100 views, to then 200 to 300.
A handful of pages.
Yeah, now you got certain videos out here got, you know, like for instance on one of our pages, you know, we got a video got like 55,000 views.
Yep.
Yeah.
This brother right here, he got numerous amount of videos that got thousands of views. You know, and that it didn't used to be like that at first.
Yeah, it's the spirit, man. So the Lord, he's showing power, and we gonna see way more power than this, man. But the Spirit brought us out here. You know, it's a very spiritual spot. You know, now we know that America's about to be destroyed, but hey, man, at one time this was holy ground, man. Before Esau polluted it. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Lord blessed the tribes to come over here and basically start over. You know what I'm saying? Still keep the laws. And then it's crazy because we got the account. Can we get that in Kings again? 1 Kings 3?
Yeah, yep, I got it right here. Right here.
Your brother got any more scriptures?
That was pretty much it, bro.
All right. This 1 Kings 3 and 2. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord until those days.
Right, and you remember when the tribes was coming into the land of Canaan, you had Gad, Reuben, and half tribe of Manasseh. They got their portions of land first. You know, before the other tribes. And what happened was they actually started. They basically built an altar. You know what I'm saying? In their land, you know, and pretty much the other tribes, they heard about it and they got upset with them. You know what I'm saying? But you know, pretty much they did the same thing over again. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't worship in Jerusalem, they was worshiping where they was at. You know what I'm saying? So same thing here. You know, they weren't in the land of Israel. You know, when they came over here, so they was worshiping here. So it's the same spirit revamp, man. You know, hey, man, you read it. Nothing new under the sun. You know, so we hope through the spirit you brothers will edified. Hey, man, we doing this for the elect, man. You know, you know, this time everything is closing in. You know, we get more locked in the spirit, and the spirit dealing with the Akim. And for the brothers that's gonna wake up. You brothers got anything else?
Yeah, like the elder said, you know, hopefully this was edifying. You know, we put time and, you know, effort into coming out, you know, to edify the elect. So we hope and pray that this video really wakes up some members of the elect. You know, and the Lord, you know, uses this to actually, you know, bring in some members, Lord willing. You know, this is a very serious time we living in. You know, well, we just left outside of the Passover. You know, we going into, you know, persecutions. We going into, you know, more people coming in. We going into good things and bad things, man. You know, so through the spirit, you know, we just got to stay attached to this thing and keep pushing, man. You know.
That's it, man. Yeah, because after YAHAWASHI had his Passover with the 12, then came his hour of temptation. So, you know, our hour was coming, man. But through the spirit, we doing these shows, you know, because we building brothers up, but through the spirit, we're being built up too. You know what I'm saying?
Faith.
Yeah, through faith, man.
Faith up.
That's right.
Hey, but with that, hope you brothers were edified. You know, we want to say Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawah,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
Barakatah Yahawashi,
BAHA SHEM,
BAHA SHEM,
Raha, Wadash, double honor to the apostles, the elders, great millstone. Honor to bless to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.